Sky Sports reports Spurs captain is in Argentina. Former Spurs striker shares his views on the current situation. Chris Sutton shares his relegation score predictions. Good news for Richarlison, Mickey van der Ven and Jed Spence. And the Europa League winners banner comes to an end. Here are your daily Tottenham news headlines. Hi everyone, hope you're well. Welcome back to the channel and to another edition of the daily Tottenham news headlines, where I'll be going through all the latest Spurs news, rumours and reports. My name's Leader Dorset Spur. If you're watching on YouTube, please like, share and subscribe to the channel. If you're listening to this on an audio platform, please hit that follow button and leave a review if you can. So let's get into it. So let's start off with Sky Sports have reported Tottenham captain Cristian Romero is in Argentina and reportedly set to miss this side's pivotal final game against Everton. Spurs host the Toffees on Sunday, knowing defeat and a combined West Ham win over Leeds will condemn them to a stunning relegation. Romero was not present at Stamford Bridge and has been described as a great captain by Tottenham boss Roberto De Zerbi a day earlier, and yet it's emerged that the injured Argentina defender is back in his homeland at his boyhood club Belgrano, who faced River Plate on Sunday in a title decider. Belgrano's official X account posted a video of Romero at the club's training ground on Thursday night in a move met with anger from disgruntled Spurs fan base, fearful of a catastrophic first relegation in 49 years. Whilst Romero was present at the Leeds fixture on May the 11th and provided a light-hearted moment when he celebrated Matisse Telga bundling assistant coach Andreas Georgesson to the floor, any absence on Sunday for the biggest Premier League match in Tottenham's history may prove the final straw in terms of the Argentinians' relationship with supporters. South American football expert Tim Vickery explained on TalkSport, Belgrano have never won the Argentine title. This is really historic. Belgrano are Romero's club. It's where he started. He is a fan. Sky Sports' Lyle Thomas wrote on Romero on Thursday, while he might be a World Cup winner with Argentina, his captaincy to lose focus in games, get sent off or go missing in difficult times has not gone unnoticed, nor has the effect on his behaviour around the rest of the squad. As good as he might be on his day, if Tottenham want to move on from this, then they need to move on from him for good. So former Spurs striker sharing on Tottenham captain Cristian Romero, the biggest game in the history of the club. This is going to be one nervy game. And when your captain is not there, that does not set a good example for everyone. This is naughty. That is loose from whoever is letting him do what he wants to do. How does he even go about that? Is it okay if I go back to Argentina because my boyhood club are playing in an important game? What? Don't even ask the question. No, I need you alongside your teammates in the dressing room to give them some support. I can't believe he's asked the question. I can't believe he's been allowed to go. That sets a precedent, that does. So moving on, Chris Sutton has provided his predictions ahead of Tottenham versus Everton and West Ham versus Leeds. So for Tottenham versus Everton, can former West Ham manager David Moyes help save his old club by getting a win with Everton here? Going on form, the answer is probably no. The Toffees have not won any of their past 6 matches, but this is going to be a nervy, old-fashioned afternoon for Tottenham and their fans. Spurs were flat against Chelsea, and based on that performance, Everton will get at least a point. Thinking about it, I'm actually going to say they will take all 3. Tottenham have been wretched at home all season. Only Burnley have picked up fewer points on home turf, whilst Everton have a strong record away until their recent run of form. Sutton's prediction, Tottenham 1, Everton 2. West Ham versus Leeds, I'm going for a Spurs to lose at home to Everton, but can West Ham get a win they need to have any chance of staying up? I can't see it myself. Hammers midfield Mateus Fernandes and his side lacked fight in the last weekend's defeat by Newcastle, which is really damning, and they have lost form at the worst possible time. In contrast, Leeds are well organised and playing with so much confidence. I'm a big fan of their manager, Daniel Farker, and I don't see him losing this. There will be loads of drama and probably loads of chances at both ends too, but I'm going for a draw, which would send West Ham down to the Championship for the first time since 2011-2012. Sutton's prediction, a 1-1 draw. Great news for Jed Spence. The England squad has been confirmed for the World Cup, and Jed Spence will be on the plane to this summer's tournament. On Thursday evening, The Athletic reported that Jed Spence suffered a broken jaw during Tottenham's 2-1 defeat at Chelsea. The 25-year-old right back picked up the injury in a challenge by Liam Delap, but is expected to play for Spurs in the Everton game on the last day of the Premier League season in a protective mask. Mickey van der Ven and Richarlison's performances this season have been recognised, being among 60 names to be nominated for the Premier League's fan team of the season. This season, Mickey has scored more goals, 4, than his previous seasons combined, 3, whilst his 119 recoveries put him in the top 5.6% of Premier League centre-backs. The Dutch defender has made his most appearance in a single Premier League season, 34, and only 2 defenders have completed more successful dribbles than him this season. With his 11 goal in the Premier League season in our visit at Stamford Bridge on Tuesday night, Richie scored his 12th goal in all competitions this campaign, equaling his best goal-scoring season for Spurs so far. And number 9 also made history this season, being just the second Brazilian to have scored at least 10 goals in 5 Premier League seasons. Fans have until 6 p.m. UK time on Friday the 29th of May to vote for the nominated duo by selecting them in your best 11, with the complete fan team of the season being revealed the following day. And finally, the Europa League winners 2025 sign has now been removed from the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. So, what do you make of all of that? Well, the Tottenham Hotspur captain, Christian Romero, is continuing to cause all sorts of dilemmas and negativity around the club. Of course, in online and in lots and lots of WhatsApp groups today, there has been no sympathy and no support for Christian Romero going to Argentina just to watch his team in their big day, when our team in our big day is, at the same time. And, the condemnation has been absolutely damning online for it. I think, I don't think it's a difficult one for me. I get it. I'd want to be there if it was Tottenham in the same scenario. I get it. You're just lucky that you're injured, because if you wasn't injured, you'd be playing. So why would you be taking that opportunity? I get it. But at the same time, you're being paid by this club. You're supposed to be representing this club. You're the club captain. So you need to man up and face up to it and be where you need to be. I'm really, really disappointed with him. I'm disappointed with the club. And for me, I feel like it's almost spelling the end of his time. I feel like if he was going to stay and build a legacy at the club, then he would be with the squad against Everton. I feel like he's aware that his time is coming to an end. He's moving on. And I think we won't see him again. I think he'll go off to the World Cup, and then it'll all be sorted out. He'll be disappearing off to Atletico Madrid or whoever. And then that'll be the end of it from a Tottenham point of view. And he won't have to come back and face the fans at any point. But he's a great player. Don't get me wrong. I don't think you can argue that he is a great player, but he hasn't been a great player for Tottenham. He has let us down so many times. I know he does get targeted. I don't disagree with that at all, but he doesn't help himself. And his injuries always seem to get better when it's time to play for Argentina, all that kind of stuff. And I don't think you can get away from that. I mean, the one thing fans want they want their players to have heart. They want their players to be connected to their football club. They want them to want to love their football club. That's why a player like Sonny will always be a legend. Whereas maybe Harry Kane, depending on where he goes in his next move, won't ever get that status, even though he's our top goal scorer. You fans want you to want to be part of their team. And I think, to be fair, I think Sheringham gets it right when he says, who's allowing this to happen? It's not right. It's not the right thing for him to do. Just because it's his boyhood club doesn't mean he should be going off and doing that. And who in the club is sanctioning it? Again, do they know something we don't know? Obviously they do. And that's why, for me, it spells a story that he's likely to be leaving and not coming back at all. So yeah, for me, I don't really know what else to say. I really don't. I think it's just one of those scenarios, and I'm just really, really unhappy with it. But if they've made that decision, haven't they? And you can't really do anything about it. It just beggars belief, and I think it will just really smash his reputation with the club for sure. So moving on to some better news. Jed Spence gets an England call up. I think that's brilliant for him. Not sure whether it's the right thing for Tuchel, but he's the manager. He has to make those decisions. I think Jed has been in and out of the squad at Spurs. He's not had his best season. There's been some question marks over his defending at times and his attitude. But good news for him. Fair play. I hope that he can really turn it on for England and have a good tournament for sure, because that will help his confidence, I'm sure, and that as long as his head doesn't get any bigger than it needs to be. Good news as well for Richarlison and for Mickey van der Ven. I was quite surprised looking at the stats for Mickey van der Ven for him to be so high in the rankings in terms of defending and so on. I'm really quite surprised. Having watched him this season, it felt at points where he just did not give a shit. At the moment, he seems like he's switched back on. He switched back onto it again. Maybe he knows something that we don't know around Romero. Maybe the captaincy's coming up. Maybe he's, thinking about it from that point of view. Maybe he's trying to get his performances up ahead of the World Cup and all that sort of stuff. So anyway, it's good to hear he has scored more goals. He has played more games, so his injuries have been far better. Touch wood. But again, it's a fan voting thing. So whoever's fans are bothered to go and vote will win the notification, I guess, that they are in there. So yeah, I don't know, are you going to vote? As a fan, are you going to get on there? Are you keen to vote for the Tottenham players to actually get into that team? So we'll see what the view of all of that is. Moving on to Chris Sutton and his predictions. That's going to be really nervy, isn't it? A 2-1 loss to Everton. But West Ham drawing and meaning we stay up. I would literally hate that. Really, really hate that. I want us to go out with a win. I want us to take it on board and really do what we need to do. Because if we don't, it's skin of our teeth time, and that's never good for anyone. It's going to kill our confidence and spoil the day for everybody. Obviously Everton are there to spoil our day, that's for sure. But these players need to turn up and they need to show something, to give us some hope for next season, because it's so easy. West Ham could be drawing and in the last minute score a goal and you're knackered and that's it. It's in their own hands. They've got to win this game. If they don't win this game, then do they even deserve to be in the Premier League? To be honest with you, and that's the real worry about it for sure. And I guess just to kind of finish off around the the situation with the Europa League 2025 banner coming down. Of course, it has to come down. Aston Villa are now Europa League winners. We're not. But what a journey it's been. The last 12 months really show how far you can fall. And this is due to these cockerels coming home to roost on for Enoch, for Lewis family, for Daniel Levy. And, it is make or break time. These owners have run out of time. If they can't do something in this next season, then that time is absolutely up. I mean, for me, for a lot of the fans, the time's up now. Sell up, go on. Let's do something different. But if they want to continue, then there's a massive step they're going to have to take. If we maintain Premier League status, then there's lots of work for them to do. Absolutely lots and lots of work for them to do. Some big spending, some big restructuring on wages, some big decisions about players who should be allowed to leave or sold on or whatever. Like the Romero situation, it's a big call. Would you want one of your best players leaving? No. But is it the right call? Do you want a situation, if you consider Man United and the Paul Pogba scenario, how, he was bigger than the club and all the rest of it. And they needed to move him on. Same with Cristiano Ronaldo. The same with David Beckham back in the day. Ferguson said, no one's bigger than this club. And I think you need to go by that and move on some of these players that are toxic, that are not doing their job, that are not achieving for you. And if we don't do that, then we deserve all we can get, to be sure. So really, really difficult times. But Europa League is now history. It's time to focus on Sunday's game and then to focus on what happens next season. Premier League, Championship, one way or the other, Spurs will need to come on. The only thing that's consistent in any kind of football club is the fans. Players come, players go, managers come, managers go, owners come, owners go. But fans are there for life. And so I'm expecting to see a lot of chanting, a lot of singing against the family on Sunday, regardless of whether we stay up or not. But the only way they can combat that is to step up and put up. So there we are. So anyway, listen, thanks for watching and listening. I hope you enjoyed it. If you're watching on YouTube, please like, comment and subscribe. If you're listening on the audio platform, please follow and leave a review if you can. I'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching. And as always, up the Spurs.